Welcome to the second edition of this series of bite-sized learning modules, Device Approvals for EA People Leaders. To ensure you're equipped to handle and approve device requests from members of your teams, it's highly recommended you watch the Device Basics module first. It will give you more context to the tasks you may be required to fulfill. Now, you recall that in the first module we provided steps on how to retire a device at the end of its useful life and arrange a replacement. In this second module, you'll learn how to approve requests for non-standard devices. Likewise, in the first module, we provided instructions on what to do with a lost or damaged device. And in this second module, you'll learn about how to report lost or damaged devices and the chargebacks that will occur to your business unit's cost centre. And finally, in the first module, we outlined how to hand back a device if exiting the business. In this second module, we will step you through what's required to collect and hand in devices for their continued use. Before we cover these topics, it's important to understand some of the new ways that we're managing the life cycle of devices at EA. First, we're moving from a one-size-fits-all model to offering an improved range of devices that will better accommodate the different types of work that's performed across EA. Equally, the unique needs of each business unit have been identified, and a recommended device has been selected to best support you and your team with the work you do. Naturally, some people may request devices with greater requirements than what they really need, so it's important to manage those expectations. It's also important to note that if someone you manage loses or damages their device or believes theirs has been stolen, the cost for replacing or repairing the device will be charged back to your business unit's cost centre. So, to avoid these unnecessary charges, you can reinforce with your teams the importance of storing devices away in a safe place at the end of each working day. And while new software will enhance the performance of devices while your teams work, it's important that they keep their devices in a good working condition at all times. So, what are the steps to follow to approve requests for non-standard devices? There are two steps to this process. If someone you manage does not agree with the recommended device that's been selected for their replacement, you'll need to review a request for a non-standard device. A non-standard device is simply one that is different to the recommended device that has been carefully selected for your team based on the work they perform and the needs of your business unit. As a leader, you'll need to determine whether the request is reasonable. If it is, all you need to do is reply to the request with your approval and justification for your team member to submit, which will then be procured and built. If you do not believe the request is reasonable, you'll need to decline the request and reinforce the need to proceed with the recommended device. Next, we will outline the steps involved in reporting a lost, stolen, or damaged device for one of your team members and the cost implications for chargebacks to your business unit's cost centre. Step 1. If somebody you manage loses or damages their device or has it stolen, you'll need to ensure they notify Service Desk immediately and that an incident is raised. Alternatively, your team member may contact you directly to do this. For lost or stolen devices, Service Desk will ensure that all sensitive data is wiped from the device. And more importantly, you'll need to ensure that your team member is quickly equipped with a loan device to avoid any lost productivity. Step 2. Tell your team member to visit the tech bar at 2MQ to collect their loan device. If their existing device is damaged, they'll need to hand that over to be assessed for repairs. If they lost their device or had one stolen, they'll get to hang on to their loan until further notice. And if you and your team work at one of our other sites, such as Geelong, our Generation sites, or from home, the Service Desk will make alternative arrangements with them. Step 3. By logging an incident with Service Desk for a lost or damaged device, this will initiate either an assessment for repairs of the damaged device or a purchase order for a replacement of the device that's lost or stolen. And remember, this will then be charged back to your business unit's cost centre. Step 4. Your team member will receive a notification from Service Desk when their repaired or replacement device is ready to be picked up or delivered. Finally, we will outline how to collect a device from someone you manage that is exiting the business and handing it into TechBar for its continued use. First, when someone exits your team and the business, a part of the exit process for EA leaders is to collect their device. While you may be tempted to hold on to that device, especially if you are expecting to have it allocated to a new join, it's actually best if you take this to the tech bar at 2MQ or hand it over to an on-site technician at our other sites. This will ensure that any data held by the device is wiped and that it can be rebuilt to meet the needs of your team and business unit. That concludes the second instalment of this series of bite-sized modules on approving requests for a work provider device. And stay tuned, as some of the steps in these processes will become automated as we build new capabilities within Lantern.